Chapter 1, The Boy Who Opened His Eyes Again. Darkness didn't feel empty. It felt heavy. Like something was pressing down on Henry Victor's existence itself, layer after layer of silence, until even the idea of breathing became distant. Then. A crack. Not sound. Not light. Just awareness. It slipped back into him slowly, like water filling a hollow vessel. And with it came confusion. This isn't right. The last thing he remembered was the steady beep of a hospital monitor. The sterile smell. The numbness crawling through his veins. A life that had ended too quietly to matter. So why? Why could he feel something soft beneath his fingers? Why could he move? His eyelids twitched. For a moment, they refused to obey, as if the world beyond them didn't belong to him. But then. They opened. A ceiling greeted him. Not the dull white of a hospital, but something far more intricate. Patterns carved into polished stone, lined with silver that reflected the dim glow of floating lights. Henry blinked. Once. Twice. What? His voice came out softer than expected. Lighter. Refined. Wrong. He pushed himself up abruptly, and froze. Silk. That was the first thing he noticed. The fabric draped over him wasn't cheap. It clung to his skin with a smoothness he had never felt before. His hands tightened. Pale. Slim. Small. Not his. A flicker of unease crawled up his spine. No, this isn't funny. His heart began to pound, not from panic, but from something sharper. Instinct. He swung his legs off the bed, bare feet touching a cold marble floor. The sensation shot upward, grounding him in a reality that refused to break. This wasn't a dream. The room was vast. Too vast. Tall windows framed by emerald curtains stretched toward the ceiling. A chandelier hovered above, its crystals shimmering like captured stars. Every detail whispered wealth. Power. And something else. Control. Henry stood there, breathing slowly, forcing his thoughts to align. Think. You died. That's a fact. So what is this? Before he could answer, a sudden pressure exploded inside his mind. Memories. Not his own. They came violently, images, emotions, fragments of a life he had never lived. A boy sneering at others. A name spoken with pride. A family wrapped in influence and expectation. Draco Malfoy. Henry staggered, gripping the edge of the bed as the flood continued. Pure blood pride. Hogwarts letters. Cold dinners under watchful eyes. And beneath it all. Loneliness. Draco. He whispered. The name felt foreign. Yet, familiar. His reflection caught his attention. A mirror stood across the room, tall and unforgiving. Henry hesitated for a second. Then he stepped forward. Each step felt heavier than the last. Until finally. He saw him. Blonde hair. Sharp features. Gray eyes that seemed to cut through everything. Draco Malfoy stared back. For a long moment, neither moved. Then Henry raised a hand. The reflection followed. You've got to be kidding me. There was no denial left. No illusion to hide behind. He was no longer Henry Victor. He was Draco Malfoy. Before the weight of that realization could fully settle, a voice echoed. Not from the room. Not from outside. But from within. Initialization complete. Henry froze. What was that? A faint glow flickered in front of him. Lines of light began to weave together, forming a translucent screen suspended in the air. Host identified. Name, Henry Victor/Draco Malfoy. Age, 10. Magic capacity, low. Core talent, average. Average? The word slipped out before he could stop it. Draco Malfoy. Average. That alone told him something important. Reputation didn't equal ability. The screen shifted. System activated, copy system. Primary function, talent replication. Description, allows host to copy the strongest talent of selected targets. Henry's eyes narrowed. Copy? Warning, copied talents are incomplete. Condition, completion requires tasks, training, and mastery trials. A pause. Then. A slow breath left his lips. Good. If it had been instant power, he wouldn't have trusted it. This felt real. A system. In another world. Inside the body of Draco Malfoy. A strange laugh escaped him. So this is my second life. The word sounded surreal even to him. But beneath the disbelief, something else was forming. Clarity. He knew this world. Knew its story. Knew its future. A future filled with shadows. A name surfaced in his thoughts, heavy and inevitable. The Dark Lord. The war. The fall of families who thought themselves untouchable. His expression hardened slightly. The Malfoys. Used. Controlled. Discarded. His fingers curled into a fist. No. That wouldn't happen again. Not if he had anything to say about it. A soft knock interrupted his thoughts. Master Draco? The voice was small. Careful. Henry turned. A house elf stood at the door, eyes wide with cautious respect. Right. This was real. Everything was real. Henry exhaled slowly, his mind already shifting gears. If he was here, then the timeline had begun. Or was about to. He needed information. Control. Power. And time. Come in, he said calmly. The elf stepped forward, bowing slightly. Henry's gaze sharpened. Without thinking. A thought formed. Can I see? The system responded instantly. Analyzing target. A new panel appeared beside the elf. Species, House Elf. Talent, Loyalty, High, Magic Manipulation, Basic. Henry's pupils contracted. So it works. His mind began to move faster. Faster than it ever had before. If he could copy talents, then this world was no longer fixed. It was flexible. Changeable. A game. No. A battlefield. A faint smile touched his lips. Not arrogant. Not childish. But calculated. 6 months. That was what he had. 6 months before Hogwarts. Before everything truly began. Before the world expected Draco Malfoy to become someone else. Henry turned back to the mirror one last time. This face. This identity. I'll use all of it. The air felt different now. Sharper. Alive with possibility. And somewhere deep inside, the system pulsed quietly. Waiting. Watching. Ready. Henry Victor, now Draco Malfoy, straightened his posture. The hesitation was gone. In its place stood something far more dangerous. Resolve. Let's see, he murmured softly. How far I can go.